This is the Celtic tale of Arthur Ruthmas, the most famous man in Great Britain and leader of the Knights of the Round Table. They worked equally in many battles, earned ever joyful victories, and were remembered as the greatest company on earth. During the day, at the great hall, a woman in torn clothes desperately rushed in. "Please help me, sir," pleaded the woman. "My husband was taken by the Knight of Tarnwaithlen. I tried to fight him, but I could not. I have no one to turn to. I beseech you, sir, save my husband." The woman's words and genuine sight moved Arthur, for he was ever loyal to help those in need and open to new challenges. Instantly, he armed himself with his spear, his mighty Excalibur, and set off alone to Tarnwaithlen on his noble steed. As he walked further into a steady darkening wood, filled with branch-writhing trees, covering the sky into a moonless night, he began chattering, and shivers invaded his body. Once he reached the castle, the knight emerged with a dark and atrocious appearance. Arthur fell to his fear as the knight approached him with his weapon drawn out. "The great Arthur himself," said the knight, "groveling before me like a weak and gutless coward." Arthur raised his head in an effort, only to find the very woman who came to him for help earlier to be in truth his sworn rival, Morgan Le Fay. "I should just go to the media and show them this list of your company's quality issues regarding materials and stock options," threatened the knight. "Instead, however, I will send you on a quest. You must answer me this question. What is it that women most desire in the world? If you give me the correct answer, your company will be spared. If not, you shall witness the strike of a wrecking ball. You have 1 year, beginning from now." Arthur retold his story to his nephew Gawain, the noblest of his knights, who suggested an attack against their rival, but Arthur was honor-bound to take the responsibility of accepting his quest. Gawain could not leave his uncle alone in this issue, so he circled the town and applied flyers for a gathering of women, hoping to have more luck in accomplishing this quest. A number of international women attended the gathering and gave their answers, which were ranging from banal to bizarre.
Loyalty, a good husband and 11 children.
Jewels and fine clothing.
Luxury.
Independence.
Loyalty
and fine clothing.
Days became weeks, weeks became months, and the gathering only led them to more answers than they knew what to do with. With only 1 day left, although they achieved countless answers in countless sheets, they knew deep down they have failed. Suddenly, a strange woman entered the hall who was undoubtedly ugly and poor. Even though Arthur questioned why such a tramp was in his presence, he saw her a woman and decided to ask the question one last time. But before he could speak, "I know the answer to the question you wish to ask me," addressed the woman, "and I intend to give it to you, but on one condition." And when Arthur demanded the details of such a condition, the woman turned her sight to Gawain and replied, "I want to have that young and handsome knight for a husband." Gawain went as pale as a cloud. Yet he knew he had a duty as a noble knight. "If this woman can truly save you, uncle," he said, "then I shall devote my life and marry her." Arthur insisted he would never allow his nephew to cross such a path for his sake. But Gawain was ambitious. "I pledge you my word as a knight that I will marry you if you can truly save my uncle," he said. "Tell him what it is women most desire, and what you desire, my lady, shall be yours." Arthur had no choice but to accept Gawain's devotion. The next morning, Arthur returned to the castle and found the knight waiting patiently. This time, he approached him confidently, with no fear. "So good to witness your sworn return, Mr. Reuthmus," said the knight. "Now tell me, what is it that women most desire in the world?" Arthur held his breath for a moment, until he replied the answer, which is, to have their own way in life. The knight dropped his weapon and fell to his knees, much to Arthur's astonishment. "Please forgive me," begged the knight. "It was Morgan Le Fay. She threatened me to treat you so heartlessly, made me her slave. I beg of you, save me! Let me join your company!" Arthur saw truth into the knight's words, and thought of an idea. With Morgan's curse finally lifted, Arthur and the knight turned back to the great hall, preparing to attend a ceremony. Gawain's wedding event was growing in every hour, leading Arthur to worry of its outcome. But not as terribly as Gawain. All of a sudden, the poor ugly woman stood before Gawain, now as a beautiful young girl. Gawain was speechless. He felt his eyes deceive him, until the woman explained her story. She and the knight were siblings who ran a popular perfumery together for many years, until Morgan came and threatened her to permanently shut down the company and disappear, in exchange for saving her brother's reputation. Without knowing the whereabouts of his sister, and after being threatened with her life by Morgan, the knight begged for his sister to be spared in exchange for his soul and servitude. The poor girl spent months out in the streets, all alone, no food or drinks, no clothes, and no shower. Soon, when she secretly learned that Morgan was aiming for Arthur next, she saw the only way to save her brother and herself was to help Arthur. She revealed she does not intend to force Gawain to take her hand. Whether he will have her for his wife or not, the choice is his alone. But Gawain explained that he has not the power to make that decision, nor question her acts. For that, he allowed her to have her own way in making that choice for herself. Arthur could not believe what was transpiring before him. But when he witnessed the smile and joy on his nephew's face, he didn't care. Gawain and his lady lived happily as a couple, although none had recalled their story in their presence. Students, artists, and writers would gather around with their pages to hear now and then the strange tale of the ugly wife.